Hello everyone, Sen here. Today we're gonna be continuing with our series on how to make a top-down game in SDL. Last episode we, we last episode we made our character move, so that's great progress. We can move our character around, but it's moving too fast. So we need to implement something called delta time. You might ask what delta time is. What delta time is a technique to ensure that things move or change at the same speed, regardless of how fast your computer is able to render frames. So this is a solution to make the game work the same even if it's running at 60 or 144 FPS. So in SDL, the way we are going to implement it is just by saving. Let's first write some code, and then we can think more of it. Like, let's first define three global variables. We're going to change that probably on next episode. But for now, let's define a global variable called last ticks, which is basically going to be of type uint 32, last ticks 0. Then we are going to have another variable of the same type called current ticks, current tick. And lastly, we are going to have a float value called delta time. So now, okay, sorry, no, it's not 32, it's 64. Let's change that to 64. These three values are the key values that we're going to be using to create our delta time. So let's go into our update function where everything is going to be done. So when we first run our update function, we want to say last tick equals current tick, then current tick equals SDL get ticks, and yeah, let's autocomplete that. So what does this mean? We define every time we run update, we are going to check, we're going to convert the last tick into the current one, then the current one, we're gonna get it from this function, get the number of milliseconds since SDL library initialization. So we're getting what is the time right now, and then delta time, which is basically a subtraction of those two values divided by 1,000. So we get seconds, and after we get that, we know what the delta time is. Now we can pass this delta time to our update entities function. So we would have to update our entities.h because right now we're not passing anything. So we could say load value. So we go back here and should go into the definition and say perfect. So now we need to pass here the delta time to the function. Perfect. Now that we have updated this, we can go into our player function here, update. The update function should have delta time as a argument. And now if we multiply the value by the delta time, and we rerun our game, you're going to see that our character is moving 1 pixel per second. So that's too slow now. We are on the other side of the problem. So we can make the player move like 30 pixels per second. I'm gonna do that here. And now we have a player that moves 30 times per second, which is great. And it's not dependent on how how many frames we have. So that's great. Now that we have delta time out of the way, on the next episode we're gonna be implementing something new. I don't know what it is. I have to think about it. But as you've seen, delta time, I mean, it's quite a complex idea, but it's super easy to implement. It's just 3 variables, and we just get it here. It's super simple. Maybe on next episode we're gonna be refactoring a little bit our main function because it's all these macros over here and so many global variables. It's just starting to look bad. So we're probably gonna be refactoring how our main.c looks, and after that, yeah, we'll be doing something else.